Hello, and welcome to Moscato and Tea. This is the show for all things beauty, business, and community with your hosts, Inez and Chiquita, keeping it raw, real, and unfiltered.
Bless you. I mean, that's fine. That'll play well. Hello, all that sniffing. What's happening?
What's up, lady? You know,
we're both over here like knockout, drag out, hot mess. Okay, we're both drinking tea.
Yeah, you know what? This tea, whatever it is pretty bomb.
Oh my! Hello, welcome to Moscato and Tea.
We're doing tea instead of Moscato.
Yes.
You know, my ass was thinking, man, too bad I didn't have my flask. I would have thrown a little.
Oh my God,
something to make it a little bit. You know, maybe a little tequila, a little rum. But I was like, no, you know what, Inez, take your ass down.
For once, just keep it simple.
No, we're doing actually tea today.
Yes,
we're drinking tea and spilling tea. So
yes, exactly. Just getting into all the news and what's happening in the world.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
unfortunately,
there's a lot.
She's about to fall out of here on the mic, y'all. There's a lot happening. On top of that, we're both actually under the weather.
Yeah, you know what? It's just this. I realize now this weather we've been having, and we go from it was like 80 degrees in LA, and then it's like 50 degrees, then it rains, and then it's just like Also, I think the air quality that we've had with, because of the fires.
Yes, it's terrible.
And stuff. I just think that it just all kind of hit at once. And I'm usually pretty good. But, man, I was like, and then I saw you, okay, well, let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you since Turkey Day.
Yes, since Thanksgiving.
I think that's when you passed your cooties around.
You are not going to put that on me.
You passed your cooties around on Turkey Day.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and nobody knew you had cooties.
Yeah, I didn't know I had it either.
Sheesh. And so that was the last time I seen you.
Yes,
so,
it was a good Thanksgiving. We had friends. One of our good friends cooked and everything.
Yeah, it was.
Hung out.
It was cool. I stick around. I don't go home too much around the holiday time because work business is busy. Everybody wants to look pretty.
Exactly.
They want pretty kitties and pretty balls. So
really,
yeah.
Even when she's sick, she go be on the balls.
That's what I do, don't I? Wax balls.
Oh my
I'm just keeping it 100. It's like hey, everybody wants to be
unfiltered.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah.
Keep it real nice and clean. So I didn't. So I enjoyed company, even though y'all, she is a grandma by like 6 o'clock. She's bouncing. I'm like, where are you going?
Listen, it was like 7 o'clock. Okay, and I had
so a whole hour later. And I was like, she's like on her phone.
I was there since 2. I was the one that had to help go and pick stuff up. I'm like, this is not my thing.
Whatever.
I don't do this. I don't.
She is an old ass lady. All of a sudden I see her. She already called her Uber. I was like, where are you going? She's like, I'm leaving. What do you mean you're leaving? I just got here like an hour ago.
Why are you putting my business out
because,
there like that?
They think it's me. But anyways, after you left, we still had a good time. It was good.
About that.
Yeah, good conversation. Men and women, relationships, dynamics. It was good. Yeah. You missed out on a good time. I didn't leave until like about 12 midnight.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that was because I had clients the next day and I was like, yo, I got to go.
Well, what were the topic? What was happening with the dating and stuff? What did you find out?
Oh, well, there was a gentleman there and we were, he wanted our opinion as women. And, it's just a very good, informative conversation, like open talk. Yeah. Men and women don't want to always talk and always act, well, you this, you're like this. We were just asking questions like, we were just talking about dating, apps, how men, and he was saying like, men have a very accessible amount of access to women now with a bunch of dating apps, which he made a good point. He's like, back in the day, you probably only knew the girl down the street and that's who you dated and fell in love with and you married and you did everything else. Or maybe the chick from school. Yeah. Nowadays, you can meet anybody from anywhere.
That's true.
So we were just talking about that. We're like, yeah. And then just the dating style in LA and our nightmare dates. And, it was fun. It was good. He got a good perspective on women and how we think about things and, how sometimes men, what expectations. That was the real key that, in relationships, people from get-go do not, set out their expectations of what the relationship is supposed to be or what they want from this relationship. Okay. I think people have this Cinderella syndrome, especially women, like, oh, this is great. I got a boyfriend or I got a man and but nobody puts down expectations. So when somebody doesn't, then fights happen because there's no communication and you're mad at your partner because your partner hasn't hit your expectation. If they have no idea that that's your expectation, how is it going to work? So, there was a friend of ours that was there and she's like, I don't cook. Like, that's just the nature of the beast. So whatever guy, she goes, I'll set up a table real nice. I'll make it look real pretty, but I'm not cooking. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. Well, do you tell your men that? She goes, all the time. Yeah. And some guys can't believe that I don't cook. She goes, it's not my thing. I can.
I cook sometimes when I feel like, but I'm kind of
but if you're with a guy and the guy's assuming he's like, well, we're gonna, oh no, she'll change her mind when she's like, we're in a relationship. Yeah. She's like, I'm not changing my mind. I'm telling you from get go, I don't cook,
and it's their choice at the beginning if they want to stick around with you, but 5 years later, don't be pissed off.
Basically, your home cooked meal. And that was his thing, too. He's like, and then we're like, well, do men cook? Like, well, what are your expectations? And he's like, oh, well, a lot of times men like women to cook because they like that being taken care of feeling. It's kind of like a mama thing. You know, when you're a kid, your mom cooks, serves you. And I was like, well, we have moms too, and our moms did the same thing. Like, how is that not equal?
Exactly.
And he's like, no, you got a good point. Yeah. I was like, so
they both should cook.
Yeah. So we were just saying, like, what's the 50-50 like? What's the expectations? So it was a really interesting topic and conversation that I was like, we're going to have to do that on the show. Like a more, I know we've done he said, she said, and it's about but I think a real open dialogue about relationship and expectations. That's good. I know someone right now who's having a really hard time in a relationship because she hasn't set up her expectations or what she is capable of doing or what she is capable or willing to do in this relationship. And I was like, if you don't do this, you're going to have a problem. Exactly. If you tell this thing, you know what? 4 days out of 7, I will cook, but the other 3, you better do something about that. Or I don't do laundry. Yeah. You better do your own laundry. Or if you don't do these things and they're sitting there like, why haven't you got it done? It's going to be a problem.
Don't be surprised.
Don't be surprised. I always say this is what I do and don't do. Yeah. And if I do something, it's because I want to. There, just, the whole thing we were talking about, gift giving. Like, how do you give gifts? Like, what are, and it was interesting because he's in the industry. So being in the industry, we were asking him, how does he feel about it? Like women and looking at it, and he says it's a more difficult kind of situation because you don't know, do women like you because of you or do they like you because you're in the industry? Do the same way we're like, well, as a business owner, you meet guys. Oh, so you own a business? Are you gonna? It's like, oh no, I'm taking care of myself. Like, where are you buying drinks? Are you going out to dinner? Like, where does there's no definition anymore. It kind of all merges together. Back in the day, it was very simple. A guy asked a girl out, took her out to dinner. They went out, and then from there they decided, and it kind of progressed, marriage, kids, one partner for life. Yeah. Kind of today.
There's no conversation.
Yeah, and today it's not like that. It's just like it's a sea of piranhas. Just kind of eating at each other, and everybody's complaining, well, why isn't there enough, of this and that when there's really no lack of communication? Yeah, so we'll get into that in another episode. I think that would be very interesting, and I would love to hear, we'll probably
get some guys on here. Yeah. Get to Mona here too.
Yeah.
We'll have
get
her
to Mona,
come back.
and then really have some, dialogue, and maybe have our listeners send in some questions, and they want to know
that'll be good.
And hear about, because we're going to do a little bit more questions and answers now.
Oh yeah. That's going to be really good.
So basically that was Turkey Day, which you missed out on with your old ass at home at 7:00.
Anyway, just to let you guys know, this is going to be a 2-part Hot Topics episode for you guys. Just to,
there's just so much going on in the world.
There's so much going on.
So much.
Yeah, we just got to throw it all at you, but we're going to split it up and have it 2-parter for you. I'm happy you had a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And you're going to stop coming for me. In my ways, okay?
In your ways, your old lady ways.
You're gonna leave me alone.
And then she's not even old. That's the worst part.
Oh my gosh,
she's not even old. I'm like, listen, my grandmother, my mom goes out and hangs out. Auntie hang out longer.
I know, Auntie. We got to have Auntie come on the show because I can see the two of you guys. Our friend Tiffany, her auntie, let me tell you, she is hilarious.
I was like, yo.
She was just dressed to the nines.
Girl, and I was like, Chiquita, really? We could, we could all use a little.
We can learn something
from old, as much as they talk about old school, sometimes that old school is.
You can learn something.
You can learn something from that.
Okay. So. She was like on it, honey. And what she was wearing, I'm like.
Yes, I wasn't mad at her.
What is happening?
She was in her 70s and she was looking like she was in her 40s. Like,
I know.
Her little dress, her tights, her boots.
Exactly.
Like, go ahead, Auntie, I know. You.
Exactly. So. No, big time. But kind of to curve the topics over, do we want to start with politics or do we want to go into kind of like some statistics that I've been seeing in the news with, women and pregnancy and all this topics
just
of
women and health in general.
Health in general, because there's been a lot of debate. I saw the other day it was something with, once again, abortion and pro-life and the back and forth in between. And at the same time, people were saying, okay, you don't want people to have abortions.
So
but at the same time, you're going to have the kids, but you don't want to help the people when they are having the kids and if something happens.
Yeah, no, let's just go into health. We'll go into politics at the end. So let's talk about how it all really kind of started with you being sick and you having to go buy your medicine.
Yes, my medicine. And it was surprising to me. I didn't know. But I went and got got antibiotics, and I'm lucky to have healthcare insurance, and stuff like that. But I still had to buy just over the counter, and I had to get some Claritin D, and I had to, show my ID and everything like that. And it's like, well, I didn't know that. Honestly, I didn't know you had to go through all that for healthcare, and yet we have all these other issues and
bigger issues. Yes,
bigger issues. So it just throws me off. And it just really to me, got into a deeper conversation with people that don't have health insurance, and if they had to pay, out of pocket and everything, it's just like, it just blows my mind because they don't want you to have health care, but you gotta do all this other stuff. Right.
It's a catch-22, I would say, in the sense where, as far as you say, having to get ID to get these over-the-counter, some of these prescriptions and stuff, is because there is something in them that if you melt in pearl, you can make,
I don't know, heroin, cocaine? I don't know.
It's heroin. Yes.
Okay, which goes into the bigger debate of opioids, and it's like...
it's a whole big old thing. Yeah. But here's the thing, you need ID to buy an over-the-counter. Yeah. But that's harder to get an over-the-counter than it is to get a gun or to do other things. The same thing with healthcare. Healthcare is just, it's just a big corporate monopoly.
Yes.
And what they're doing is just that, more and more people are going holistically and trying to figure out other ways to cure themselves and get better because the drug companies, they're making billions, not millions, billions of dollars on people staying sick.
I believe
people addicted to these painkillers,
Vicodin, Percocet, all this.
Everything, and then had just to show you, it's even to the point where I have a client. She was trying to try something natural, had an allergic reaction to the naturals. So you see, now we're having allergic reaction to natural stuff because our body is so used to the chemicals that when you go natural, sometimes our bodies just can't take the natural, as essential oils, things like that. Yeah. Okay. So she went to the doctor, got an antibiotic, ended up being allergic to that antibiotic. So
That's crazy.
Now it's crazy, right? Now ended up being allergic. So now we're being allergic and having allergies to antibiotics. Why? Because we're taking them so much. They're putting so much shit into things that now, and now she has to take a steroid to help her get over. I'm like, holy, over a rash.
That's freaking crazy.
Is that not bananas? And the only reason I told her to go, because I was like, I didn't like the way it looked. I was like, I don't like the way it looks. It's not looking, it just doesn't look right to me. And she's like, and then she asked me, she goes, girl, I had a rash. I was like, this is nuts. Over a rash?
Yeah.
Over using something natural, it turned into a bigger
issue.
But that's to show you all the stuff and the shit that they're putting in it to make you addicted, to make you sick. So now you got to buy this, you got to buy that, and more money, and that she has health insurance. So now it's like you said. Now you have to buy this, you have to do this, and then now the FDA is trying to regulate. They're trying, and they've been trying to regulate herbs and natural supplements.
Wow,
because money. It's a money deal. Herbs and different supplements and different things are unregulated by the FDA. So now the FDA is trying to hit that market because now more and more people are realizing like, yo, that stuff that I'm taking, over-the-counter medication isn't really working. It's not. And it's true. It's to the point now where our bodies are so getting immune that same thing with anything else. You got cancer, you got all these other things. Now, remember back, just because we're talking on this, touching upon it, do you remember back in the day, back in the 80s, being young, they were talking about AIDS and everybody was dying for AIDS. Now they have a pill that you can take to prevent it. But mind you, there was no cure for it.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm just telling you, this is where people are like,
it blows my mind.
I'm like, yo, don't drink the Kool-Aid, people, because there is a lot of it, my own conspiracy, population control. They're doing all kinds of craziness, but whatever.
It's sickening.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's really, really sickening.
That leads us to, we were just talking about, like we were just talking about Kim Porter.
Yeah.
May she rest in peace.
Yes.
How sad.
47 years old.
She was 46. She was going to be 47, I think, this month. A young mother, healthy.
Yes.
Mind you, healthy. She did yoga. She ate healthy. Like she was got sick. All of us do, whatever.
Yeah.
For weeks, complained about it.
To the doctor.
And brushed it off like it was nothing.
Exactly.
Oh, you're fine.
Exactly.
Just, take something else, take something else, take something else. And that night that she passed away, she called her doctor to tell him she still wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
And she never went to sleep and never woke up.
Yeah.
That gets into when women of color talk about they don't feel well and how the medical system and doctors brush it off like it's nothing. Like you're fine. Serena Williams. If Serena hadn't had the money and her husband, like literally like going, no, we're doing this.
Something is wrong. Listen to her.
She would have passed away.
Yeah.
After giving birth. So we're looking at it in the statistics of women of color passing away from
childbirth.
Yeah. It is outrageous.
Oh yeah.
They were saying something here.
Like 11.
Oh,
you got.
What do we got?
On my end, it was like in Texas, like percentage from 11% of Texas births in 2011 to 2012. It was like 28% of that was pregnancy related.
Yeah. Okay.
That's crazy.
So they're talking about like, about. You're talking about childbirth. So you're talking about 830 women die from pregnancy or childbirth related complications every day around the world. Okay, every day around the world. So now you're talking about that's 303. 303 like 1,000 people, women dying a year of childbirth. Where this is 2018.
Yeah.
And then it's talking about maybe in the United States, about 700 to 1,200 women die from pregnancy or childbirth complication. Black women are about 3 to 4 times more likely to die of pregnancy or delivery complication than white women.
That's crazy.
Is that not crazy?
That is crazy.
So what's basically saying is that the doctors are not paying attention. And they're just like, whatever. A lot of it is hemorrhaging.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of it is hemorrhaging or, I mean, like at the end of the day, back in the day, women did die from childbirth. There was complications, but it's 2018. There's no reason, especially deaths that are preventable.
There was one story I was seeing on, my friend sent me the video. One woman, it happened like 2 years ago. And she was at a famous hospital. Don't want to put the name out there, but a very famous hospital. And she had died from childbirth. And the thing about it was the husband kept telling the people, the staff and everything, that they need to check on her. He saw like blood in her what is the thing?
Catheter?
Yeah. And he told them around like 2 or 3 o'clock because he saw his wife shaking and just like hemorrhaging or whatever and everything, and told the nurses, and they were like, okay, we're going to do a CT scan. And he kept telling them, and they kept pushing it off until like 9 hours later, after midnight or whatever, they decided to take her back and like check her and do surgery or whatever. But throughout that whole entire time, he kept saying something is wrong, and no one listened to him. And one doctor or whatever said to him, oh, she's not a priority right now. And it just like blew my mind. And just recently, he actually went to Congress and spoke and everything, and to try and bring awareness, which is amazing. And it just blows my mind that, like you said, in 2018, this is still like an issue. It is a huge issue that really shouldn't be happening.
No, not at all. And I think they got this perception, especially women of color, that we're strong, that we can handle pain, that, for saying, a lot of it is like, well, I'm not feeling well. I'm not this. Oh, yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah. Just take some Advil, you'll be good.
You're right. Oh, well, I don't have anything for 3 or 4 days, or, or bleeding, or, it's just one of those things that it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we're talking about this in 2018.
Yeah.
And I hope, hopefully more and more now people are starting to get aware, being aware, especially something as shocking as Kim Porter dying, a healthy.
Yeah.
A cold, a flu, something, and it wasn't like it wasn't anything that you could be like, well,
nothing outrageous. No, just plain
old, and doctors not listening.
Yeah. It's that simple. And it's doctors. Of course, you're going to, when you're going to your doctor, you're going to believe and want to listen to your doctor. Of course, people are going to take their advice. But here's the thing. But it's like,
doctors are humans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Doctors are humans. They're not, superheroes. They're not, they're humans. And I think our faith in doctors and assuming that they're just gonna, is just way too high.
Yeah,
I think we need to start asking questions and doubling. I mean, at the end of the day, I have clients that have been to doctors, don't like their doctor. I go, well, why are you still sticking to that doctor?
Oh, yeah. No, I have like 5 different doctors.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm like, you should be able to see 50 doctors.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to, till you find the doctor that's going to hear what you got to say and listen to you. And okay, well then you can't help me. I'm going to the next. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't help me. I'm going to the next. That's basically where it's at now. Where it's like, okay, bye. Yeah. Next, you're not paying attention to me. Next, next.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's crazy. But it is what it is. So we'll see. You want to go ahead and take a break now before we get into politics?
That's up to you. That's why, with everything.
I know, I can see the fire burning.
Why? And I know.
We're going to take a little mini break and come back when we're going to start with some politics, just to, kind of spice it up a little bit.
Thanks for listening. Take a little time to enjoy your brand of Moscato and tea with us every day. Subscribe, rate, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and MoscatoandTea.com.